All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Shai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Stone. Shalom to the elect pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. With hope of receiving mercy of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Shai. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is the name of His only begotten Son. The so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites, according to the prophecies that are written in the scriptures. I want to make it known that the RFID microchip is the charagma written about in Revelation 13, verse 16 on down. The miracle drug is the precursor to the charagma. Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus, is about to make his return upon the earth to deliver his elect and to pour out judgment, as it is written. So, I want to go straight into this lesson dealing with the chariots of Israel, which is the chariots of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And these are the vehicles that the U.S. Navy, and various Navy and military bases around the world have had sighting of and reports of. And individuals around the world have seen lights moving in particular pattern, and cannot explain what they are seeing. At one point they were labeled flying saucers till them start refer to it as UFO. Now it is UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon. And a lot of people hear the word UAP and them not have a clue what's being discussed in Congress. But we're in such a time in which the chariots of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai is being manifested so much around the world, it cannot be hid, yo. It cannot be hid. And the closer we get to the end, the Lord will do more great things in the heavens, yo. So I want to go straight into this lesson. And this is UFO hearing. Pentagon shows declassified photos and videos. So, I did I listen this in parts, Some to them I listen. Tomorrow I listen because it's over an hour and a half, So I did analyze it in part, and you have a couple part of this whole press briefing or whatever they want to refer to it as. You have certain parts where I take keen, or I should say I paid keen attention to, you see me? Just to show the power of the chariots, So I'm going to run a small piece of this clip so you can get an understanding of what I'm talking about.
On the individual case investigations.
I'm not aware of any contractual programs that are focused on anything related to this other than what we are doing in the Navy Task Force and what we're about to launch in terms of our effort.
Same question for you, Mr. Bray. Same answer, not aware of anything outside what we are doing in the UAP Task Force. So just to confirm, you're not aware of any technology or engineering resources that have been focused on these efforts besides what we've mentioned today?
Once again, I'll say no contractual or programmatic efforts that are involved. The reason why I qualify it that way, let me qualify it that way. I can't speak to what people may be looking at in the department. Somebody says, I'm looking at something that may be unidentified, and I can't speak to that. I speak to official programs that we have on the record.
It's also been reported that there have been UAP observed and interacting with and flying over sensitive military facilities, particularly not just ranges, but some facilities housing our strategic nuclear forces. One such incident allegedly occurred at Malmstrom Air Force Base, in which 10 of our nuclear ICBMs were rendered inoperable. At the same time, a glowing red orb was observed overhead. I'm not commenting on the accuracy of this. I'm simply asking you whether you're aware of it and whether you have any comment on the accuracy of that report.
Let me pass that to Mr. Bray. Looking at UAPs over the last 3 years.
That data is not within the holdings of the UAP Task Force. Okay, but are you aware of the report, or that the data exists somewhere. I have heard stories. I have not seen the official data on that. So you've just seen informal stories, no official assessment that you've done or exists within DoD that you're aware of regarding the Malmstrom incident. All I can speak to is, what's within my cognizance of the UAP task force, and we have not looked at that incident. Well, I mean, it's a pretty high-profile incident. I don't claim to be an expert on this, but that's out there in the ether. You're the guys investigating it. I mean,
out there in the ether. So this is the question that was posed to these two men. And look on the capability of the Chariots, over that military facility. The Chariots disabled missiles, Just think about it. There and then, that's a matter of national security, That's why them not gonna talk much on this topic, because just the capabilities of the Chariots alone is mind-boggling, The Lord make fool the wisdom of this world, because them way make it or put it out there on these news media outlets that it could have been evil their enemies around the world, have advanced technology, but in truth and in fact, who have these capabilities and not use them, Russia? China? Man. So on the conversation that we just heard them put towards these, toward the head of the whole UAP task force. So this is one of the man that was at the site when that incident occurred. Alright, so this is Daily Mail. Exclusive. Former Minuteman commander slams Pentagon officials for saying they knew nothing about UFO incident that shot down nuclear missiles at US Air Base in 1967 because he reported it to DOD last year. So this is the same incident where they must have them not have no record of. But the thing is, why them would have hide something like that? Just because of the capabilities of the Chariot, So it's a former Minuteman commander at a secret nuclear silo has slammed Pentagon official for telling Congress they had no information about the UFO shutting down intercontinental ballistic missiles (ICBMs) at a military base in 1967, even after he reported the incident to the UFO task force last year. Robert Salas was on duty, commander of the underground launch facility at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana, in March 1967, when a mysterious red orb allegedly flew over and all 10 of their nuclear missiles inexplicably shut down for several hours. This is why they might cover up these things, because just the capabilities of the Chariots, them not understand how them do the things that they do, how they move, because them have no visual, you can't see nothing on these vehicles for show how them fly, yo. And that's baffling to man. So I want to go on the next point that, that grabbed my interest in this whole hearing. It's supposed to be the 101. I'm gonna start from around 4 minutes in. Let's go.
Chairman, and I want to thank the witnesses for being here today. Obviously, this topic of UAPs has attracted a lot of interest in people that are curious about this.
You need to listen very keenly to the message being shoved or pushed right here, yo. You see it?
Hearing today, as we talk about, and I would say there's a lot of what I would call amateur interest groups that are involved in the UAP field. My question is, when there are unsubstantiated claims or manufactured claims of UAPs or kind of false information that's put out there, what are the consequences for people that are involved with that or groups that are involved with that?
So one of the concerns that we have is that there are a lot of individuals and groups that are putting information out there that that could be considered to be somewhat self-serving. We're trying to do what's in the best interest of, one, the Department of Defense, and then two, what's in the best interest of the public, to ensure that we can put factual-based information back into the mainstream and back into the bloodstream of the reporting media that we have, so people understand what's there. It's important because we are attempting, as this hearing has drawn out, to understand, one, what may just be natural phenomenon, two, what may be sensor phenomenology or things that were happening with sensors, three, what may be legitimate counterintelligence threats to places that we have or bases or installations, or security threats to our platforms. And anything that diverts us off of what we have with the resources that have been allocated to us, send us off in these spurious chases and hunts that are just not helpful. And they also they also contribute to the undermining of the confidence that the Congress and the American people have that we are trying to get to the root cause of what's happening here, report on that, and then feed that back into our national security apparatus so we are able to protect the American people and our allies. So it is harmful, it is hurtful, but hopefully if we get more information out there, we'll start to lessen the impact of some of those spurious reports.
So just taking that a step further, that misinformation, false narratives, manufactured, so what are the consequences? Are there legal consequences? Are there examples that you can give us where people have been held accountable by this misinformation or disinformation?
I can't give you any examples where somebody's been legally held liable for putting something out there, but
well, I guess what's the deterrent from people engaging in this activity?
I don't know. I don't have that answer. That's something that welcome the dialogue with Congress to talk about that with the members who help legislate those laws to say what should be the legal ramifications that we could use to potentially hold individuals accountable, whether it be citizens or information that might be injected into our media by other forces or other countries, if you will.
And in terms of DOD's and review and analysis in this field, I mean, is there a standard in place when it comes to UAPs? I mean, is there any guidance you look to that's codified in law or otherwise within DOD that kind of sets out the standards for UAPs and what to look for?
I think that's part of what the group that we're standing up now will be charted to do. We're actually, from my organization, will be looking at policy and standards that we have to come to you and work with you to actually put in place and promulgate across our government.
Thank you. I yield back.
Gentlemen, yield.
All right, so you see here the questions will get proposed or asked, so the narrative being pushed is the misinformation about these unidentified flying objects, yeah? And who put out the most information on these vehicles? The Israelites, yo. Mainly GMS, yo. Because right now, if I click up on our last cam videos, let's see what we were talking about. Alright, so the brother them here, what was the talking point at camp? So we were talking about the chariots. See, the brothers them just make reference to the scripture referred to the chariots as being even mountains, yeah. So we just get it from the scriptures. You see me? We just bring out the judgment with the Lord that can pour out using these chariots here. This is Zechariah 6 verse 1. And I turned and lift up my eyes and look, and behold, there came 4 chariots out from between 2 mountains, and the mountains were mountains of brass. Right then and there, you should think why the writer, the prophet, referred to the mountain as being brass, yo. So let's continue. In the first chariots were red horses, and in the second chariots black horses. So we're into the time in which people are going to see various shapes and colors, you see me, in the skies above, yo. And that's the Lord and manifest these things upon the earth, yo. And this is what the Lord is going to carry out in the end thereof. So this is Isaiah 66. I'm going to start at verse 15. And this is one of the reasons why them don't like what we are saying about the chariots here. That's why they're going to put in laws and policies so we can speak on these things, yo. You see me? This is Isaiah 66 verse 15. For behold, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai will come with his fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai shall be many. And this is what we're telling the inhabitants of the earth, y'all. Invasion is coming. And you see the capabilities of the chariots already. Remember Daniel 12 tell us, and that time Michael shall stand up, y'all. Hope this was really fine. But I don't want to say Kalalaw, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Shalom.